down. And this is where I work. Everything comes out of my drawing. I'm always doing my drawing. I generally am working on several different sizes in series. And I usually work with a motif over a long period of time until I feel like it's exhausted. And then I try to expand from that motif. This is essentially this is a monoprint. Each of these prints is unique. Each of the pieces of paper is unique. It's made by the press, handmade. Here you can see we sent this piece of paper through the press several times. But if you look at this one module, let's say, right there, that's one piece of metal. And sometimes we use the ghost of the paint that's left on there. We use the ghost onto another piece of paper. So you get all these really beautiful transparencies, plus all this random stuff that happens. These are also from the same series. We did maybe over 100 pieces with these plates, each one different. And then this is one we were actually trying to combine the photolitho image with some plate images as well. So you can see we did a big range of things here. These pieces sort of take one shape that I developed by folding the paper in half so it's always symmetrical and rotating it around a central point. And this is a motif, a vertical kind of motif, but again you can see that they're always symmetrical, that I developed after I did a residency in Spain. And I was really looking a lot at Islamic tile, Spanish decorative art, Spanish, even wrought iron was a good source for me. So these continue that kind of vertical presentation of this symmetrical situation. And here you can actually see the beat marks of the powdered, the bag of powdered pigment itself. These are some drawings that I actually held back and that I'm not selling. I keep them. I mean, I always try to keep a small group of my work that I feel is very strong. I don't know. I think it's important because I also try to document my work very thoroughly as well. I've been doing these little pieces on canvas for some time, and they're often a little thicker, a little thinner, a little bigger, a little smaller. But I from the beginning, when I began to work on these, you know, the idea of the image, where the image and the object intersect, when image becomes object, you know, that edge I was always interested in. It's another way to work with this idea of transformation, through repetition, and the form of the book, the folded form of the book. I just thought it was perfect for that. I was born in Easton, Pennsylvania. My family, I'm the first actually of 6 children, Irish Catholic family. And we grew up in the country in New Jersey, in a very beautiful part of New Jersey, Hunterdon County. And I think from a very early age I was somebody who just loved being outdoors in nature. And I think that my early contact with nature probably has influenced my work a great deal. I had the opportunity to do a show in Pisa. And actually, I accepted the show with the idea that I could work on marble. We had 2 weeks to do the show, and so we went into the quarry, and basically I picked out small pieces, and then we hauled down a several-ton piece of marble, and I made a piece on the flat-cut face of that actually went outside the gallery. And then I had other pieces that either were hung on the wall or on the floor, and I basically used the marble as a support for the drawing. You know, the thing is, they have this three-dimensional quality like some of my drawing has, so the chunk of marble has a different quality. It's not sculpted in any way, that's what I want to say. In this case, I had the spolvero, which is a piece of paper that's pricked along a series of lines. I mounted it on the wall. In this case, I encase it in a plastic bag or sack, and then I cut holes in that, and I get my arms in there, and I pounce that, and then the image is transferred through the holes onto the wall. This friend of mine, this Danish friend, named Finn Hav, and he invited me to be part of this concrete workshop, which was on the island of Samso. Then I began to conceptualize this, idealize this sculpture. And you know, there was some improvisation that went into it along the way. I wanted these kind of pierced negative spaces, and I had drawn these forms, but to actually create the mold and make these things completely from the ground up was just something I knew I couldn't realize. Within 2 weeks, we had to make this piece. I have several shows coming up next year, one of which is at the Aldrich Museum of Contemporary Art in Ridgefield, Connecticut. And they saw a cast concrete piece of mine that I did for my show last year at Metaphor Gallery in Brooklyn, which is my gallery here. And they, I think, envisioned my work as being something that could be installed outside but seen from the inside of the gallery space. So, Richard cited one of these small pieces out here, which I liked a lot. I love the color. They actually custom made a piece also that brings the piece up off the ground a little bit, which I find nice. I like it. And we also have the largest piece, which was the major piece that I projected for this exhibition here in the center. And this piece actually just got finished last week. The prints are ongoing. I'm working with Wildwood Press in St. Louis, which is an absolutely fantastic place to work. They make all their own paper, and so each piece is a little bit different than the other. Or I projected actually a lot of sculpture, a lot of small sculpture. But fortunately, when the work got here, Richard Klein, the curator, determined that actually the pieces would look much better if they were dispersed throughout the museum. And in fact, that each one merited more space. Actually, I had always really was intrigued by the idea that there were going to be pieces on the mezzanine, that you could see this other piece, that there would be a relationship and the dialogue between all the pieces, the inside, the outside, and the sculpture behind, I think, is really quite nice. So I'm pretty happy with that.